So just to reiterate some of the testing numbers, so 22,487 tests completed yesterday. And again, my deep thanks to everybody who came out and got tested yesterday. I know it was a very long and busy day and some long wait times at many of our testing centres across the state. I still got thousands of results being processed in the lab from late yesterday afternoon, early yesterday evening. They'll be coming through today, but I'm expecting at least another 8,000 or 9,000 results on top of those 22,000 from activity that was undertaken yesterday. They will be, of course, in tomorrow's numbers. As the Acting Premier said, we have 190 testing sites open across the state today. The 13 drive-throughs will be open for, the largest drive-throughs will be open for a full 12-hour period. We've also had a number of testing sites open at 7 o'clock this morning, and I know that some of the early opening sites, particularly the ones I've driven past on the way here, some of them already got significant queues waiting at them, so please check before you depart onto your most convenient testing station. We have additional sites that have opened up yesterday, today, and that will continue to be open over the coming days at Wantirna. The Acting Premier has mentioned the showground, the major testing site of Showground Extension. We have an additional drive-through at Werribee, an additional drive-through at Hallam Secondary College. We also have the facility at the State Basketball Centre and at Wells Road and Beaumaris, amongst others. So again, our website has full details of all the sites open. Also, my thanks to the primary health networks, the GP respiratory clinics, and many other testing facilities, including our colleagues in private pathology, who have all gone the extra mile over the last few days to get their centres open. Every test is important in this environment, and I thank everybody who's making such a heroic effort to ensure we provide support to the Victorians coming out over the last few days and over today and over the days ahead. It will, of course, be quite wet out in many parts of the state today. We've got gumboots on order already in some of our eastern testing centres. So I would, again, please encourage people, do prepare for a significant wait, particularly at the busier centres, and make sure you've got things to do while you're waiting in those lines. We've seen some very positive numbers, nevertheless, as a result. We've done a 35% uplift in the total number of tests delivered just in the south and southeast suburbs yesterday compared to the day before. So we are getting the numbers through. So if you are waiting, please bear with us. Bear with the system. It is important that we get these tests done so that we can continue the encouraging trajectory we are on with this BlackRock cluster. Alan's already gone through the details of the BlackRock cluster, so I won't repeat his comments, except to say we do have 51 exposure sites listed on our website. That is a significant number of exposure sites, and of course it highlights that with the 21 cases in this cluster at the moment, that people do rightly travel around quite extensively at this time of year. Please take note that on our website there are different directions depending on the extent of exposure at each site. So there are some exposure sites, such as the Doveton Church, particularly the Spanish-speaking service, and of course the BlackRock Cafe itself, where we are asking people to quarantine for a full 14 days if they've been there in those time windows. There are many other exposure sites where we're asking people to just test and isolate until they get their result. Our public health advice is proportionate, and our public health advice, both for people going to these exposure sites as well as people crossing the borders, is targeted to the individual circumstances. I appreciate that can lead to confusion as people make multiple trips to different places, but please do follow that advice very carefully to make sure it's relevant to your particular circumstances.